Hello there, darlings. I suppose we're live now. Well, hello there. Thank you very much for being here, for having subscribed, or if not, do that. Thank you very much. And thank you for being here, for being on this live now. I'm going to have a fascinating interview, I'm sure, with Mirjam from the channel Up North. And we'll be talking about her life, why she is protesting now Scientology, and maybe any future exciting plans. So without any further ado, please welcome Mirjam. Hello there, darling.
Hello. Thank you. How are you doing?
Excellent. And yourself?
Mhm. Excellent. Yes. Bit nervous, but
Marvelous.
yeah.
Of course. But I'm sure we'll be just fabulous as always.
Yes, of course.
All right. Would you like to maybe introduce yourself a little bit, talk about where you come from, and
hmm
yeah, so people know who you are?
Yes, of course. So my name is Mirjam. I live in Denmark. I've been living in Denmark for 18 years.
Mm,
But I'm a Scandinavian citizen, however, so
mm,
I haven't moved very far from home.
yeah.
And yeah, I do YouTube live videos with my partner in crime, Elron Hapkalt.
Yeah.
And yeah, we are doing YouTube activism. I don't know if you want to call it protesting or whatever, but
Mm,
we've been doing it for the past few months.
mhm.
And did I answer your question?
Yes, sure.
Okay,
And
good.
but you very recently started your channel, didn't you? Just like a couple of
Yes,
months ago or so.
yes. So it was long time in the plans. I actually started to watch Scientology content long time ago, like
Mhm.
maybe 7 years ago or something like that.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, and then when everything got activated in Los Angeles with William Good, uh,
Right. Yeah.
is our dark stallion over there who is
Mhm.
kind of like ending the Scientology on his own with a little help of his friends.
Yeah.
Then I thought, okay, I will need to also do something here because there's absolutely no kind of activism here.
Yeah.
And it's really scary to start with. And, it was the middle of the winter and really cold. So I thought,
Mhm.
okay, I will wait for the new year. And when the weather gets a bit better, if no one shows up, then I'll have to do it.
Yeah.
And I made like, I think, 2 or 3 short videos just showing the Scientology buildings in Copenhagen, and
Mhm.
yeah, and then I don't know who sent them to Natalie for the daily updates, and they were
Mhm.
played over there, and
Right.
that's I think Elron Hopcult found me,
Right.
and
Okay.
yeah,
And then that's
so
yeah, yeah. Okay.
yeah,
And may I ask what happened? Oh, well, first of all, you started to watch these YouTube
Mhm.
videos on Scientology 7 years ago.
Mhm.
Was it just you were on YouTube and it was just suggested for you, or were you looking for it? What has happened that made you want to look up what is Scientology? Because as I understand it, you yourself did not grow up in Scientology. Is that
no,
right?
no, I didn't. I
Mhm.
actually Scientology has always fascinated me. Like
Yeah.
I think when I was 14 or something, I made actually a presentation about Scientology in school. I don't want
Really?
to age myself, but it was around end 90s
Hmm.
because we had to make a presentation about some kind of religion, and then I chose Scientology because very
Hmm.
fascinating and celebrities and everything. And I
Sure.
actually found the OT3 material online in the end.
Right.
Yes. And I remember my teacher was looking at me like I was a crazy person talking about body thetans and Sinu and so forth. But I mean,
Yeah.
I had done my research, so he had to give
Yeah.
me a grade for it. And
Yeah.
then, then I found Aaron's channel actually. So
Uh-huh.
I've been following him for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And what happened then now a few months ago where you decided, um, okay, I'm going to actually do something? Like, I mean, you were talking about that you saw the protests and the activism happening
Mhm.
in America with
Mm.
the handsome William Good.
Yes.
And is was that that made you say, okay, it's great it's happening over here, but I don't see anything happening here in Europe? And then,
Mm. Actually, I think the turning point was the moment when that horrible security guard at the information center he told William on the door that it was his fault that his son died, and
right.
that upset me so much.
Yeah.
That that someone who is so much trying to be above everything else and being the perfect citizen and saving the world
Mhm.
is talking so horribly to another person.
Yeah.
That really aggravated me. And I think the bad Danish weather in the winter was a little bit of an excuse where I needed just some months to build up courage to go out and
Sure.
do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, because there was
Yeah,
no one.
because it does take courage. I haven't found the courage yet of doing that. I will admit that. I
Yeah,
do hope that eventually I might be able to do that as well.
yeah.
Because as far as I'm aware, we don't have anybody here in Switzerland
Mm.
doing that. And okay. And now you've been doing it for a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel now after having sort of jumped over your shadow of the nervousness of not being sure, ooh, am I doing it right or whatever? And also
Yeah.
another point
Mm-hmm.
is the research that you had to do to find out, okay, what are you allowed to do? What are you not allowed to do? And things
Okay.
like that.
Yeah. Well, the first thing is like I've told the Balash, I'm not afraid anymore. And when
Hmm.
we're together, I'm not afraid at all. So
Yeah.
we have kind of made a pact together that no one is going alone to the
Hmm.
orgs to protest, because now it's reoccurring, the calling the police every single time.
Hmm.
So it's there's power in numbers in that sense, but
Sure.
also the fact that yesterday the police was called for the fifth time,
Hmm.
you kind of get numb to that.
Yeah.
and
Sure.
and the fact that we know that we are allowed to be there and we're allowed to express our opinion when we don't
Hmm.
harass anyone. I mean,
Sure.
of course I've looked into it. It makes me feel more secure, and every time when the police comes and they kind of just kindly try to de-escalate the situation, uh it it's made me not worried about it anymore at all.
Yeah. And de-escalating in the sense, not that you guys are screaming, but it's more that the other
Mhm.
guy, that Scientology is screaming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, sometimes we might mention something about the SBTV, that space, or
Hmm.
SBTV Foundation, for example,
Yeah.
but we don't harass anyone. We are not
Hmm.
calling them mean names. We are not doing anything that would be considered to be harassing. For example, following people
Sure.
when they're walking on the street. I mean, if we bump into them, then fine. We can
Sure.
inform them about the SBTV Foundation, but
Hmm.
we are not harassing them because that's illegal, and that is actually within the bounds of law what we're allowed to do. So when the
Hmm.
police comes, they are just trying to de-escalate the situation. They know we are not doing anything illegal, but because the church is calling them, they will need to try and handle the situation somehow, so they
Hmm.
don't keep on calling all the time.
Yeah.
So I think yesterday was probably the fastest when the police has arrived.
Okay.
Normally it takes like an hour or something. So
Hmm.
that means that they keep on calling.
Yeah.
And it's not a high priority task for the police.
Okay. And but does the police, like, is it not now, because it's been now the fifth time? Are they sort of like showing up and say, "Oh, it's you guys again"?
Actually, that happened yesterday because we
Okay.
were at the Danish org, and
Yeah.
we had been at the AOSAGU the day
Hmm.
before because Balazs has some IAS commission to be paid out to him that they owe.
Right. Right.
And they owe it both at AOSAGU and the Danish org.
Right.
And the police tried to say yesterday, well, were you not told yesterday that this situation is being handled? But because Scientology has split their organization to minimize any kind of risks,
Hmm.
it is a totally different case because he also has separate IAS commission from the Scientology Denmark org.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a total separate issue.
Yeah.
So whatever the police said yesterday doesn't matter.
Hmm.
And our information has been taken down every single time the police has arrived.
Of
But
course.
because we're
Yeah.
not doing anything illegal, there's nothing to do except to write down,
Yeah.
you know.
Exactly. And this. Yeah. They can't do anything, and there's nothing for you to worry about, because
Mhm.
you do everything. You're doing everything within the law. You're being polite. You're not
Yes,
harassing or anything like that. So there's nothing
yes,
to worry about in that sense. Do you
no.
know in Denmark how Scientology is viewed legally speaking? Is it viewed as a religion?
I've been trying to look into it,
Hmm.
and normally all kind of company information is public in Denmark, and
Right.
I cannot find any of the financial information regarding Scientology. So
Hmm.
I think it is partly considered as some kind of semi-religious organization, but they
Okay.
are not fully tax exempt. But they are
Okay.
not operating as a a profit-making company either. So I
Mhm.
will need to investigate a little bit more. But there's so many things happening that I could use all my day on this, and I have a full-time job on the side. So
Yeah, of course. Okay, cool. And are there any exciting future plans that you'd like to share with the classroom?
yeah, I'll need to think about that a little bit. There's some secret plans and
Mm,
some
okay.
secret activity that I cannot tell, but I mean, we are planning to protest. That's absolutely our aim to
Mm,
arrange official protest, and not just one, but
yeah,
continuous protest. So whether it's every week or every other week, we just need to get that started, and we're not going to stop it until they leave.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's the right sort of attitude, isn't it?
Yeah, and we are both feeling very confident about it that it will
Yeah,
happen at one point, sooner or
yeah,
later.
yeah. I mean, it's also awesome that you have Balash by your
Mhm,
side and he has you by your side because
mhm.
I did have a chat yesterday with Alex from Apostate Alex, and he also said
Yeah.
it's very important when you do any sort of protest or anything like that, you're always with at least one other person. Uh,
Mm,
One for witness, of course,
mm,
for filming, being able to say, okay, this is what actually happened, but
mm.
also simply from a uh, you feel much more secure. You feel like, okay, he's going to look out for me, and you're going to look out for him.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And for example, the situation we had last week on Friday, where the man threatened to kill us.
Oh, was
And
that? I remember seeing that. Was that the gentleman that talked to you for quite a while, and he was in Scientology for ages and things? Do you want to maybe talk a
yes,
little bit about
yes,
that rather
yeah. So
crazy,
this is
crazy?
basically, yeah. Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you.
No, no. Yeah.
I talk all the time. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I've been
No.
told to shut
Oh.
up already once today, so
Oh, please,
don't
darling.
tell.
No, no. Go ahead.
So the trouble comes to us apparently, and the Scientologists come to us. We
Yeah.
were just having a casual conversation because we like to lighten it up also
Yeah. Yeah.
in the live videos, because
Sure.
otherwise it would be just dead air.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was trying to sell Balazs as a single fellow, and we were doing a little bit of Q&A and so forth.
Mm.
And then this gentleman sitting next to us got interested also because he heard we were talking about girls. He wanted to
Mm-hmm.
get involved. I asked if we can film him because you need to ask for permission before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we had a short chat, and then I just thought, because we were in front of the Danish org, I will just ask, what do you think about Scientology?
Mm.
Because I thought, he will just say, oh my God, they're all crazy, or it's a
Right.
cult, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But no, he starts to tell how he's been in Scientology for over 40 years. His parents were at least one of the first Scientologists in Denmark, if not the
Wow.
world. I didn't really get the details about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were going to a lot of in-depth discussion about Scientology's different kind of how would I put it?
Nonsense.
Yeah, nonsense, all kind of nonsense, and the way
Yeah.
they are operating, for example, towards SPs and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And then towards the end of the incident, he actually found out that we were suppressive people,
Right.
or at
Simply,
least that.
simply by the way you were asking the questions.
No,
I
actually, it
suppose.
was
Or
because Balazs, he ran to the door to stop three guys walking in there because they were curious,
okay.
and he got very upset about it. Very
Oh,
upset.
okay. Yeah. So Balash
Yeah,
went there to tell them, oh, don't go in there. This is a
yeah,
cult.
exactly,
Right. Right.
exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
And from there, it just escalated. We
Yeah.
tried to de-escalate. It was impossible, and at that moment, then he became concerned about the video,
Mm-hmm.
and he asked or demanded us to delete it immediately, and
Yeah.
calling us criminals and saying he will unalive us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at that point, I said, okay, let's go.
Mm.
Let's not stay here because the situation is a little bit dangerous.
Yeah.
And he grabbed my jacket from behind. And if I had been alone there, I don't know
Yeah.
if I would have gotten beaten up or whatever, because Balazs, he pushed him away right away.
Yeah.
and then we just continued walking.
Yeah.
But to be in that situation alone would have been really terrifying. I mean,
Of course.
we did have our own little meeting after that and just talk it through and everything. But I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm fine. But if I had not been alone, then I don't think I would have been that fine.
Yeah, of course. And I'm assuming the reason why he got suddenly so worried about the video is because the video would show that he's having a casual and friendly conversation with these terrible SPs, right?
Mhm.
And that would
Yes.
obviously be very bad for his record as a Scientologist.
Yeah, that's correct. And also, he was saying that we were talking about, for example, L. Ron Hubbard's death and
Mhm.
his own drug addiction and so forth. And
Yeah,
he said he doesn't care. He
he
was
doesn't.
also saying that there is a lot of people in Sea Org that don't have, that don't have genuine thoughts, or they're not genuine, and they are, breaking the protocol, or working against the L. Ron Hubbard's teachings.
Right.
Yeah, and what did he also mention? I can't remember the third thing, but it was something similar to that, about people actually just googling the clear cognition online and moving up the bridge.
Wow, cheating.
Yes,
Wow.
and he said those people are just stupid, but he kind of admitted that also does happen. So
Yeah. Amazing that he just spoke to you guys about that. I
yes,
mean, obviously later on he found out that you're these SPs, but even if you were just random people,
yeah,
it's amazing that he was just so open to talk about these things that
yeah.
he was actually thinking about.
Yeah, but I think that's actually I don't know if you saw Aaron's the recap on it, but he told us about his auditing experience, that he had like 40 big folders, of his
Yeah.
auditing, and now he was told that there was not to be any more auditing. He had been audited since he was 12,
Hmm.
so I think his head was just messed.
Yeah.
Scientology had messed up his head.
Yeah, Aaron, he did say that there in almost every org there's this one guy or
Mm,
this one woman who's
mm,
been at it for so long, and
mm,
the auditors in the CS just don't know what to do with this person
mm,
because
mm,
they're getting a little bit, well, to put it politely, a bit crazy,
yeah.
and Scientology can't handle that sort of thing. But
No.
at the same time, clearly they have money, so they
Yeah.
still want to make sure that they still keep coming in,
Mm,
showing up, doing the courses or whatever,
yeah.
and just trying to keep them on the loop and not let them go
Mm,
because every money that they can get, they will get, of course.
yeah. And on
Yeah,
the second matter, I would also say that it's Scientology's own doing. So if these people, for example, end up in mental institutes, that could be a huge problem for Scientology as well.
of course. Yeah, because they'll figure out very quickly, oh, this guy has been there since 12 years old, all of
Yeah,
these
exactly,
auditings and all of
exactly.
these things.
Yeah. So if he would
Mm.
get appropriate treatment, the truth would be revealed quite easily.
Yeah, of course. And if he is one of these, or his parents were one of these very first uh,
Mm-hmm.
Scientologists, I mean, if he then were to speak out, I think this
Mm-hmm.
would shake the foundation for many Scientologists in Denmark
Mm-hmm.
and around there.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean,
Yeah.
his family is in Scientology. The little break we had was because he saw his cousin on the street, and he had a
Mm,
long conversation with his cousin in between our
yeah.
discussion. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Was that the craziest situation so far that you
Mm,
had?
I mean, it seems to be that something crazy happens every single time we go. So it's
Yeah.
really difficult to say. I mean, we've been talking with so many people.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the video when we went to the birthing outside Copenhagen, and there was a beach wedding to be
Right.
happening.
Yes. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
That was the first time I felt something really crazy happened, because
Hmm.
they had put this nice setup and everything, and just because we showed up there, we got the music, we got the
Yeah.
people running like crazy, just moving
Yeah.
the whole setup to their own grounds, and they did end up having the wedding,
They
but
didn't.
they did, they
Oh, they
did.
did. Okay. Yeah.
But it was at their own grounds. But
Okay.
what happened afterwards, I mean, part of it we were not even filming, because we were there just to kind of see if we get in touch with some of his old friends, for
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
because it was the
You mean
CS.
From Balash? His own
Yeah,
friends?
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
because it was the CSP time. So some of them were walking on the beach.
Yeah.
Some of them were at their own grounds.
Yeah.
So the idea was not to make some kind of very exciting video. So then we were just sitting on the beach, and there was actually drones flown over us. And the
Okay.
woman who is the wife of head of OSA in AOSAGU, and apparently she is head of OSA at the Denmark org. She was
Mhm.
coming there with the with a professional camera taking pictures of us.
Wow.
Yeah. So
It's unbelievable that, I mean, Scientology in Denmark, or if it's in America or wherever, whenever there's a protest coming like that, they just clear up as fast as possible.
yeah.
Almost like you guys are radioactive, which
Yeah,
is
it's
which is
true.
which is so fascinating because,
Mhm.
I mean, if Scientology is so great and so powerful, then what these unimportant people say or whatever shouldn't have any
Mhm.
effect at all. And they just
Yeah,
run
exactly.
away, which just sort of shows the nature of it, that it doesn't, that
Mhm.
clearly it doesn't work, because they can't have a discussion, they cannot have a talk. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
amazed how many people have talked to you, to
Yeah,
you and
yeah.
Balazs,
It will end
on your
probably
lives.
soon.
Pardon?
It will probably stop soon. I mean, sooner or later, all will
Sooner or later
end.
there might
Mhm.
be a briefing, they'll show
Yeah.
pictures of you and Balazs and say, look, these guys, don't talk to them, ignore them, or whatever.
That
Yeah.
has already happened. So
Really? How
yes,
did you find out about that?
because well, basically, we only need to walk past by
Yeah.
AOSHEU. They will
Yeah.
lock the doors immediately.
Right. Okay.
If we see anyone who is in Sea Org, they are going around us or changing to the other side of the street.
Hmm.
So they are all aware of it, that they should not be in touch with us. So there's been a briefing. I think the only ones who are maybe not aware is some public Scientologists.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
basically, the funny thing is that even though there's power in numbers, just as two, we can mess up their whole, for example, dinner break, like we
Yeah.
did 2 days ago, by
Yeah.
just sitting 20 meters from the entrance. No one was able to walk to the dinner at the Nordland Hotel. And
Oh
we are
my
just
God.
two people sitting
Yeah.
on a bench,
Yeah.
talking about nonsense, basically.
Yeah. But
So,
that's right, because for them to go for dinner, they have to walk.
yes.
How? So quite a little walk they have to walk,
Yeah, I would say it's maybe 600-700 meters, less than a
right?
kilometer for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, that's like their only break during the day. That's freedom for an Sea Org person,
Yeah. Yeah.
because that is the only time you can have your mind and your body for yourself. So a lot of the couples, for example, they are they look really happy. They're walking hand in hand, and really
Mhm.
just taking all in of the break time they have.
Yeah.
So the fact that we get them closed down at the org will definitely raise questions, because we're just two people. We're
Yeah.
not following them. We are
Yeah.
not harassing them. Like,
Mm.
why should they be afraid of us?
Yeah. Absolutely. And since you started that, have you had anyone reaching out to you, maybe anonymously or anything like that, to say, oh, I've been there, I've seen this, I've seen that, anything like that?
Uh, yes and no. Yes, in
Hmm.
the sense that I have got these kind of contacts, but they are dating into very far away in history, so nothing current.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So it's a shame, because I mean, both of us, we would love to be contacted by someone, and it would be really
Yeah.
useful information for us.
Do you have an email address you would like to that
Yes,
people can
yeah, yeah. So it's
contact you
just
with?
scientologyupnorth@gmail.com.
Excellent.
So
Let me first of all, let me show this very professional banner, Scientology Up
wow.
North, at Scientology
Hmm.
Up North for the YouTube channel. And then let me put in the chat the email.
Yeah. So if anyone has any current information regarding the org, Sea Org, anything that's going on over there, just reach out to us. Like, we will appreciate any kind of information we can get.
Yes, exactly.
And if anyone wants to come out, I mean, we have been given the permission from Aaron to offer help from SPTV
Oh,
Foundation
that's awesome.
immediately.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we have been already telling a lot of Sea Org people that, if you need to get out, we can help you right
yeah,
away. You
yeah.
just
Because
need to
that is. I remember when I was in the Sea Org, that was something I was very afraid of. That if I were to leave,
come.
I was oftentimes in doubt of, is this the right thing? Do I really want to do this?
Mm,
And really, I never wanted to do it, but I just felt like I
mm,
have to do it.
mm,
Like I have to save the world. It's my responsibility. And something that kept me really in and didn't want to go out is the fear of, well, where am I going to go? What am I going to do?
yeah.
I have nobody, I have no money, I didn't
Mm,
finish my school, I didn't go to university, I didn't do an apprenticeship, I didn't do anything. And that
yeah.
was something that really kept me. So these sort of messages, I think, even if perhaps they don't respond right away, but just by
Mm,
repeating it, by them just hearing and knowing it, if they come to a situation, like for example, let's say 3-4 times a week, they cannot go
mm,
to dinner break
mm,
because you guys are just standing there and having a little
mm,
chat.
mm,
Um, and then food has to be delivered to them. The food is cold or whatever,
mm,
it is a mess. After
mm,
a while, they'll maybe think about that sort of thing. Think like,
yeah.
why is this happening? Why am I here? Why is this really worth it? And they'll
Mm.
they'll think about that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. And I mean, it's an open offer. That's also something we've been, trying to message that, we're going to be around. You
Mm.
don't need to do it now. You can come to us anytime you see us,
Yeah.
at any point, and we can help you.
Yeah.
And there are people that you can clearly see that they are. I mean, I
Struggling.
don't know if suffering is the right word, but at
Mm.
least deeply unhappy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. And when they do go, for example, to the break, as you said, they have a moment of freedom. They're outside, they
yes,
can breathe, and then
yes,
maybe that's the moment where maybe they don't have to smile anymore, so to
yeah,
speak. They can just,
exactly.
you know,
Yes, yeah.
yeah, because I remember being in the SEOG, but also as a Scientologist outside of the SEOG, always having to smile, always looking
Mm,
happy, making sure that people think that
mm,
I'm perfectly happy with everything that is happening, that I'm doing well.
yeah.
Because of course you can't show that you're not unhappy, because that would
Mm,
imply that Scientology is making you unhappy, and that
mm,
would absolutely not be okay, and you'll be sent to the ethics officer.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, we are here to help, and of course, yeah, we still hope that of course more people will come out, and I think there will be more people coming out to help us with the activism. But this is what we're doing for now.
yeah. We had there was this lady the other day
Hmm.
that also came out, sort of just supporting a little bit,
Hmm.
and you guys were encouraging her to also
Yes.
start a channel and things. Is that right?
Yeah, so Carolina, she has contacted us and she's very interested in being involved. So I think it will, happen gradually.
Yeah.
We were just kind of walking around. She was seeing what happens, and it was her first time in contact with the police. I mean,
Mm.
the first time Scientology called police after us, that was also first time I ever had to identify myself to the police. And
Yeah.
that's already a big thing when you're a law-abiding citizen, and
Of course.
you know a police comes to you, no
Yeah.
matter
Yeah.
how good looking they are. But
Yeah. Well, men in uniform, it's
yes,
just,
yes,
what can you
love that.
do?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. And do you know, was she herself an ex-Scientologist or anything like that?
No,
Could she give any
no,
sort of insight?
no. She's just interested in the topic, and she
Yeah.
wants to get involved. She wants
Yeah.
to help,
I
and
think,
yeah,
yeah.
she feels just as strongly about the cause as I do.
Yeah, I think it's amazing how many people like yourself who
Hmm.
you don't have a fight in this, so to speak, in the sense that it's not that you grew up in this, you had to work for them,
Mm,
you suffered under the hand
mm,
of Scientology or anything like that, but
mm,
you just simply see the suffering that they give, the nonsense, and
yeah,
I mean it's more than just nonsense
mm,
because of all the enforced things that you have to do as a Scientologist, as a SEAL member, and you
yeah,
just and you just simply decide, you know what, I can't stand by this. I have to do something about it, and I
yeah,
want to thank you very much. Thank you for doing that,
yeah,
because it's not a given thing that people just decide to do that sort of thing. Of course, also ex-Scientology, ex-SEAL members, but I find it even more so amazing that people who were never involved in it decide, I have to do something about that.
Yeah, I can't myself understand the people that see injustice and don't say anything or speak out about it. But yes, it was not personal for me before, but now, after I met Balazs, it's personal.
Of
I
course.
mean, yeah, they messed with my friend. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if I was upset before, I'm even more upset now. So
Yeah.
now it's personal, even though I
Yeah.
haven't been in Scientology myself.
Yeah, that's awesome. There are a couple of comments. I start. Let's have a quick look over here. We come from Aaron Hapkold, from him himself. Head of
Yes.
OSHE is sick. We made him go PTS. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, the police revealed to us 2 days ago that the head of OSA was sick, so he was unable to, assist Balazs with this IAS commission issue. And
Wow.
yeah.
Sick
And
or
I mean,
non-confront?
yeah, exactly. And I mean, he's the one that is probably bearing the biggest responsibility for us in Denmark. So
Yeah.
this is a very, very bad situation for him. And, clearly it's having its toll on him.
Yeah. All right, we got here another question from Barash. Question, SP Chef, are you planning to go out somewhere to protest at one point? Well, planning is a bit too strong of a word. In Switzerland, I did do a little bit of research in regards to this sort of protesting and filming. I'm not allowed to actually film people at all. There's this YouTuber in Germany. I don't remember his name. He's done a few lives where he had the camera and just pointing it at him, and then you can just sort of see him as he's protesting, but he's not allowed to actually show the buildings or anything like that, because there are very strong privacy laws. So, I mean, if I were to, I think going, because I don't want to do it alone. It's scary. I'm genuinely scared. I'm not physically scared. I'm not afraid that I'll be physically harmed, but in Scientology, in Switzerland, we only have 2 small orgs, in Basel and in Zurich, and it's not very far apart, travel-wise. So there are many people in Zurich that also come from Basel. And if I were to go to Zurich, I just feel like I might meet or see people that I used to know, and I just don't know how I would react to that. I mean, I remember watching the IS protest from last year, the live, and there were people there in security that I knew. And the security chief, his name is Luca. I even made for him or his wife a birthday cake when I was in the SEALC, right? So we had a very good connection. And just watching that, I felt like really scared. I had a knot in my stomach. So I have a bit of non-confront at the moment.
Yeah,
but
I totally
we'll see.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I might do like a little gradient. I might go maybe somewhere else, maybe to a different country to protest there, because then I might not see anybody who I know, and then it will be a bit easier. But
You're welcome
we'll
to come
see.
to Denmark if you want to. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's an idea.
Yes.
The last time I was in Denmark was when I was 12 years old.
Okay, yeah. So you should definitely come, because I heard
which only has been 10 years, of course.
Yes, of course.
10.
But I heard you talking about Denmark, and I would show you the more beautiful side of Denmark as well, because I heard you were not that impressed.
No, I just went to the wrong time. It was just really dark. I don't think it rained, but it was just very dark, and we were just only in the SEALC buildings. We didn't go to a park or anything like that.
No.
So I didn't have a very good impression of it. But we did see the famous mermaid on the rock.
Yeah, the Little Mermaid. Yes.
The Little Mermaid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes. So you're more than welcome.
Okay. Awesome.
I will take care of you if you'll come here, for sure.
Oh, okay. Awesome. I'll have a look at the flights. We'll organize something.
Yes. Just tell me when.
Yeah, sure. You've got a nice little comment from El Sarmento. I like your picture. Lovely hair. I love watching Aaron Hapkold and Scientology up north. As do I. They're absolutely marvelous.
Nice to hear.
Right. I'm just going back again at some of the other comments and questions. We got here another question. Were there any conflicts with LRH's work was translated from English? Interesting. Do you know anything into Danish? If there was...
No, I don't know anything about that. But actually, we have the New Era publication, for example, in Denmark.
Yes.
And
That's where everything is printed and done.
And Bianca told that I think it was her mother or grandmother was one that was translating the material into Swedish. I don't know about conflicts per se in the material, if there has been any, but clearly they've been also using internal staff for the
Translation, things like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but my brother, he used to work in New Era publication.
I think I recall something when you told your story, but if I was a little bit unaware, is he still in Denmark currently?
No, he left. He left the Seog, but
Okay.
he's still currently a Scientologist,
Okay.
and he lives in Switzerland.
Okay.
And yeah, but
Yeah.
he and a couple of other my family members are still Scientologists.
Yeah.
At the moment. So
Yeah. For now, let's
for
hope it
now,
will change.
yeah. I mean, I've been talking to them and try to be gentle and not too harsh, too critical, because then very quickly they'll go like this and they don't want to hear.
Yeah.
But I always try to sort of drop a few seeds. I'd say things like, wasn't that strange when we were children? This, that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
what's your favorite book or whatever, and then I immediately change the subject. But it just sort of lets him sort of think about that. Oh yeah, that was a bit strange, wasn't it? Or we'll talk about the crazy stories when we were in the Seog, and we'll try to sort of outdo each other. I remember the first day I had to work 18 hours, and I would say, 18 hours, lucky you. My worst day was 24 hours, and then, we'll say things like that. And yeah, it's a process, but I hope eventually it will be resolved and he'll realize that it's actually all just a money grabbing scheme, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. It's just about planting the seeds. You can't change it in one day.
No, it's the same thing like what you guys are doing when the people walk by, or also non-Scientologists, and just inform them and say, careful, it's a cult, even if they are not involved in Scientology, but now they're sort of aware of that and they can ask questions or whatever. Did you have that as well? Non-Scientologists that maybe you spoke to, or they came to you and asked, what are you guys doing? And they were maybe unaware and you were able to inform them a little bit?
Not so much. Normally people are just laughing at us like we're just filming each other on the street and, having a little giggle.
Yeah.
So not yet, but for sure, when we'll just arrange a proper protest, then we'll also hand out some information also for the public, not the Scientology public, but, the public in the real world, the free world, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely.
To spread the information as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome.
But yesterday, when he was shouting in front of the org that he wanted back his money, there was about 50 heads turning as they were passing by. I mean, that is in my opinion, the best advertisement for Church of Scientology, that you have a man, calling after his money in front of the org.
Absolutely. Yeah. Awesome. Well, darling, would you like to? Well, you said already there are a few little projects going on for the future for your channels and with Balázs together. Is anything else you'd like to tell us? I mean, right now you're doing lives. Are you also planning to maybe do videos talking about maybe individual experiences that you had during live? Maybe even take like a clip from a live and maybe explain a little bit what was happening there, the things behind the scenes, because we oftentimes only have one view, but we don't see what's happening behind you on the sides of you. So you can give a little bit more the tea,
Yeah, we've been talking about it. It just, needs setting up. We were actually talking about starting to do some regular videos where we are, for example, talking about specific topic
Hmm.
or something that's happened. So that's in the works right
Hmm.
now. With our schedules, the best thing is to just meet up in the city at the any random day, and fire away. And
Yeah.
you know like I said, the trouble seems to come to us. So as long as we get these kind of situations for ourselves, that will for sure spread online, and get more eyes. Because that's I think something that we really need to focus on, is to build the awareness. Because
Yeah.
the SPTV community is really great,
Hmm.
but still, in the end of the day, it's not that many people. And what you watch on YouTube will keep on recommending to you.
Right.
So the more we are, the more visibility we will get.
Yeah,
And with
absolutely.
the more visibility, we get more views,
Yeah.
because we need our videos to pop up on everyone's For You page, not just
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
people that are already watching SPTV space.
Yeah. And also, of course, people in Denmark and in Europe.
Mhm. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Have you had a lot of? I mean, you can see sometimes on the analytics of videos, like from where people are watching from.
Mhm.
Have you had a good number of people from Europe also be watching?
Yes, but mainly from UK. There is some from
Okay.
Denmark, and I can see that now the audience is like slowly starting to get bigger, and
Awesome.
there is more Danish people in the chat.
Yeah.
So that's promising. And I mean,
Yeah.
when they see what we're doing, and we're not breaking any law, we're not there to just make trouble.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, that they would like to get involved as well.
Mhm.
That this is totally fine way of demonstrating your opinion on Church of Scientology, and then
Of course.
try to grow that way. But for sure, if you have any ideas, tell me more.
Well, maybe we'll organize something for when I pop over.
Yes, that would be great. That would be great. Yes, you're more than welcome.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you very much for this wonderful talk. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
everyone who's been watching, giving us some comments and questions. Would you like to say anything else before we attest to this live stream?
uh, I just want to thank everyone for their support. I think the
Mm,
community is amazing, and thank you for reaching out to me. For me, it's not so important to be, how do you say, in front of the camera. I mean, I am unfortunately have to be in front of the camera a lot, but
yeah.
it's the cause that matters. It's the story of the survivors of Scientology that matters.
Mm.
And I just want to thank everyone for the support, and thank you for having me on.
Yeah, and thank you for coming on. Thank you for doing what you're doing. It is awesome. Somebody had to do it, and you said, "Fuck it, I'll do it," and
Yes.
that's absolutely amazing. So
Good.
thank you very much. Keep going, darling. You're doing marvelously,
Thank
and
you.
I wish you and everybody a most excellent day. Goodbye.
Bye.